Okay, so this graph here, it's really asking you and wanting to see if you can really understand all of the parts of a graph. The graph below shows a relationship of the number of gallons of fuel remaining in a truck and the number of hours the truck has been driven. Okay, so the x-axis is the number of hours, and the y-axis is how many gallons of fuel that we have. So when I have 0 hours, I have 200 gallons of fuel, okay, in this truck. That's a big truck. That must be like one of those big, huge, 18-wheeler type trucks. I don't know how many gallons they have. They can draw it for a while. Anyways, moving on. So if I've driven for 2 hours, I have 180 gallons in the truck. So I've used about 20 gallons to drive in 2 hours. Now let's ask them what the question further says. So that kind of demonstrates what we're talking about in terms of this. And our slope is decreasing. What does the x-intercept of this graph represent? So that's that point right there at 20. Okay, it says, A says the number of gallons of fuel in the truck before any driving occurred. No, because the x-intercept represents the number of hours driven. So A is definitely not an answer choices. The number of hours that the truck has driven before running out of the fuel. That sounds really promising. The number of gallons in the fuel the truck can hold. No, again, we're talking about gallons. We're not talking about gallons. We're talking about hours. Okay, the number of hours required to use 1 gallon of fuel. No. We talked about back here when we looked at from 0 to 2 representing 2 hours, then we use 20 gallons of fuel. So that's definitely not going to be our answer choice. So just by process of elimination, it has to be B. But that's true. In 20 hours, we're going to run out of fuel. The next question is a new TEK, so I will go into that in the next video. See you later.